Welcome to a weekly episode of Talk. We're your host, Eddie Marmolejo.
And I'm Jaime Moreno.
The Biden administration is in serious trouble. Serious trouble. It almost looks like an episode of The West Wing. And we will dive into that. OSHA has an announcement that proves Talk correct again. YouTube, you owe me an apology. You owe me an apology, YouTube.
Yes, you do. It was an apology.
And Newsom is going full Palpatine one more time. You know, Emperor Palpatine for Star Wars, for all you who keeping track. He has extended his emergency powers again. We will let you know about that. This week, we're going to have a couple announcements. Like I said, due to YouTube strike on our channel, and although every single media outlet is not proving Talk correct, we will not be switching from YouTube to Spotify. Spotify is allowing us to upload our videos. So from now on, if you want to watch the show, you can actually go on our Spotify channel. The link for that is in our bio. It'll direct you there. You can either watch the episode or listen to the episode. What's more convenient for you. So that's great that Spotify is doing that for your listeners or viewers of whatever podcast. So we thank Spotify for the opportunity. So go ahead and you can either listen to it on Anchor or watch it or listen to it on Spotify. And with that being said, let's dive into it. So like I just said, Joe Biden is in trouble. And if you don't believe me, listen to what's his name? George Stephanopoulos of ABC says.
We're coming on the air this morning with a brand new poll, and it's brutal for President Biden. His approval rating has hit a new low. Only 41% of Americans think he's doing a good job in office. 53% disapprove. 70% believe the economy is in bad shape. And with inflation at a 3-decade high, only 39% approve of Biden's handling of the economy. Looking ahead to the midterm elections, Republicans have a 10-point lead among registered voters, their largest lead ever in the 40-year history of our poll.
Uh-oh.
Dun, dun, dun. What's going on?
So there's a lot we can point out. Okay, there is the COVID mandate. Mm-hmm. There's the rate of the economy. Okay, there's the border crisis alone. Just look at these numbers from the border crisis. Okay, this was a who made this poll?
If the car of your dreams is not the car.
A Cabs Harris poll. Excuse me. A Cabs Harris poll pointed out that 83% think immigration is a serious issue. 65% think Biden's immigration executive orders encourage illegal immigration. 54% think he's creating an open border. 73%, okay, think the current surge in undocumented immigrants at the border is a crisis that needs to be addressed immediately. And if that is not enough, 69% of Latinos, according to a Quinnipiac poll, think he's doing a bad job at the border. So you add all together, the economy, you see the state of the country, inflation going up, and you're in California like we are now paying $5.01 to a gallon. And this is interesting. I had a couple of conversations with a couple of people that actually voted for President Biden in the last couple of days. And I hear the word regret a lot. I've been saying I told you so a lot.
We've been.
So and this is not to show is that you knew that what President Biden was going to do. You knew that, but because you guys hated the guy with the mean tweets, you voted this guy in, and now here are the problems. And it's probably
There's the consequences of that vote.
There's the consequences.
Because remember, elections have consequences.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Good or bad, right? Good or bad.
But they have consequences.
They have consequences.
Currently, not so good.
So, and what's interesting is that, Stephanopoulos, I'm pretty sure he had that moment like, I have to say this on the air. Republicans have the largest lead in the 40 years history of this poll. I'm like, ugh.
He had to mention the 40-year history.
Yeah.
Just to make it look like, oh my God, this has never happened before.
Yeah.
But we based on the 2016 election, we know the polls got it wrong in the presidential election. And they got it wrong in the midterm election too. Oh. So for him to say, he just mentioned the 40-year history, because just make it look like it's never happened before, it's so accurate. But we've noticed over the years that, they failed. They failed miserably.
So, but the whole thing is that the Biden administration is facing a lot of backlash. There's just a lot of the Americans are just really, really unhappy. I mean, what do you got to say about it?
Yeah, we're unhappy. I mean, what else are we going to be mad at? I mean, Joe Biden, as soon as he came into office, he made a bunch of executive orders. He cut down a lot of energy, he went against the polls. He went against a lot of stuff. I mean, people are mad about just, first of all, gas prices, right? I mean, just that in itself, gas prices. Now we have we have food prices going up.
Yeah.
The other day, my mom was telling me that she was buying meat for like $8 a pound. Back when I remember when last time I bought meat, it was like $3.50, $3.60. Now it's a lot. Right now it's $8 a pound. I haven't gone to the store in a while, but it's $8 a pound. Now we're looking at the cost of food is going up. A lot of costs is going up, right? And then we have shortages of workers. There's a bunch of problems going on, all because Joe Biden came in, and the reports actually literally say. So someone told me you can't link the gas prices with Joe Biden. Yes, you can. It's called cutting the XL pipeline. By cutting the XL pipeline, a thing that's been going on debated for years since the time of Obama, right? Once he put an executive order, we're going to end it. Gas prices went up. Why? Because the energy companies, the fuel companies said, "Wow, okay, the United States is not going to invest in new technology. Joe Biden's coming against us with renewable energy, with electric grids, and blah blah blah. So we need to raise the prices because we need to protect ourselves." Protect the resources that we have, the limited resources that we have. California has so much oil in itself, just to begin with, has so much oil that if we were to dig and drill them, we would have prices so low, we'd be dancing like in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Which is like not even $3 yet. So, but because we're so environmentally friendly and so on and so forth, and we have all these regulations, we are unable to invest, and therefore gas prices gone up. And news reports, actual articles say, first thing they say, the reason gas prices went up, Biden administration going against the oil and petroleum companies.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So elections have consequences, people. You talk about that with Republicans and Donald Trump. Well, it also happens with Democrats. And if you don't believe us, come live in California. We're the bluest state in the nation, the most progressive liberal state in the nation, right? And we're paying $5 a gallon, a state that's supposed to help the poor and the minorities and the working families and women and all the people who suffer from income inequality.
Yeah.
And yet our gas prices are $5.
Yeah.
Right. So anyways, so that's that. So people are upset, and that's rightfully so. It's rightfully so that we're upset. Gas prices going $5 a gallon. You have to take kids to school. You got to take them to soccer practice. You got to go to work. You got to go to the grocery store. You got to go visit family. And then to top it off, we have the holiday season coming up.
And all of the merchandises in the Pacific Ocean.
Yes.
So if you look at a lot of the in that Harris poll, a lot of the
so give me
areas.
Sorry to interrupt. Just a quick reflect. The Harris poll is not Kamala Harris, all right?
Oh no, it's just the organization. Yeah, it's the organization.
It's from Harvard.
Harvard, yeah,
it's Harvard. It's from Harvard. Okay, Harris poll comes from Harvard. So Harvard, remember, Harvard is the top school, most liberal, most progressive. The same school who allows people, who fires people for bringing difference of opinions to the liberal agenda. Okay.
Yeah. So
that Harvard we're talking about, you know. So this poll comes from that university.
Yeah, and there's also other factors that they look into, and if you're looking at the percentages, it's like in the high 30s, low 40s, pretty much on every topic. That's approval rating, folks. That's not anything. That's approval rating. And disturbingly so. I mean, the highest he's got is the coronavirus. That's pretty sure because a lot of people are liking the whole vaccine thing and all that. But everything else is pretty much. And the lowest one here was Afghanistan. So I mean, disturbingly so. We all know why. But that's Joe Biden in the first year and a half. Was it a year and a half now? Mm-hmm. Or was it just the first? No, it's first year. First year.
It's gonna be 2 years coming up.
Is it no?
2022 is next year.
Yeah, so first year, 2021.
He got elected 2020.
Yeah, so we're in 2020. Okay. Well,
I get you. Okay, yeah, January 21. Okay, yeah, I get you.
So his first year. Okay.
Yeah, his first year.
It's no bueno. It's no bueno. And the midterms are coming up.
I get you now. Sorry.
And this is problematic just to hear. Mm-hmm. But if that's not enough, ladies and gentlemen, we have entered the stage where of the West Wing. And but what I mean is, we have entered into the Aaron Sorkin version of the West Wing, where we're watching it live. And no, it's not the West Wing reunion that was on HBO. It's actually live in the White House now, What am I talking about? The West Wing has a Kamala Harris problem now. And there is this long, and I am talking a long article by CNN. Not Fox, not the National Review, not any conservative publication. CNN. Okay? And CNN,
The most trusted news.
the most trusted name in news. Okay,
Oh, name in news.
I wish I would have had that like James Earl Jones thing, but I'm pretty sure I'll get copyrighted for it. But the most trusted name in news. I'll try to imitate. I cannot do James Earl Jones. I mean that voice is magnanimous. But anyways, so not James Earl Jones. CNN, most trusted name in news, wrote this extensive article of the potential White House infighting that is going on, and it's all centered around Kamala Harris. It's so funny that in times that her staff is passing around an article from The Onion. The Onion, if you're not aware, is like Babylon Bee. They make these satire articles.
So yeah, satirical.
Satirical articles. And the title, and it's not verbatim what I'm about to say, is like staff wants Kamala Harris to set a computer for emails because they don't feel that she's working. Okay, they don't feel like she's not doing anything. Okay, and it's this back and forth between aides and Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris feels she's set up for failure. Her aides well, you're not doing the right things. Her aides are getting frustrated with Biden's aides. It's so ludicrous. I was reading this article, right, and they're pointing out it's like so funny that it was a point in the article where it says it's funny how they went to defend a white man, and they're referring to Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg, right? But they wouldn't come to defend a woman of color like Kamala Harris, right? And this was talking in respect to her comments, maybe like the veteran the veteran
the
veteran holiday.
Yeah.
Holiday.
So the issue there was Pete Buttigieg, when he gave his conference, right, transportation conference, he took some time off to
be with his kid.
With his kids.
Yeah.
They recently adopted the kids and so on and so forth, right? So when they attacked Buttigieg on that, the Biden administration came into his defense saying, family leave, and that's something we're working on in our plan to have people get paid family leave, to spend time with the families, blah, blah, blah. Justifiable, okay? Kamala Harris, if you guys remember, or you guys are aware, when it was Veterans Day, she tweeted.
Yeah, she tweeted, have a good long weekend or something.
Have a good long weekend.
Yeah.
On Veterans Day weekend. So who do you think the Biden administration, just logically, right, without bias or anything, are going to defend? Obviously, Buttigieg, right? He went to do something nice, went to his family. It's justifiable. A tweet saying, have a nice weekend on Veterans Day, instead of saying, thank you, veterans, thank you for your service. Have a great weekend, y'all. Chill. Yeah, of course the Biden administration is not going to stand up for her. I mean, it's pretty logical if you think about it. I mean, that was so dumb of her to tweet, or whoever staffer was there. Probably that gay staffer with the oh no, that's Pataski, sorry. Jansky's intern. Saki's intern, whatever her name is. Probably tweeted that, not knowing that was disrespect to veterans, to military personnel, people who evacuated from Afghanistan. We just had a terrible exit of Afghanistan from all those veterans who came out, who are here in the United States, who fought in that war for the past 20 years, all to say, have a nice weekend. Yeah, of course the Biden administration is not going to come to her defense on that, right? And they're mad about it. Oh, they didn't defend her. Well, yeah, you set up yourself to be ridiculed. And Buttigieg, people attacked him too, but Buttigieg you can defend him more because he went with family. Something that's principle, something that here in America we love. Our family, we take for our family, we protect our family, we look after our family, right? So two different scenarios, two different justifications to defend these two different people. But Harris people are trying to say
Harris. So let me just read this one quote from a Harris loyalist who said, "It's hard to miss the specific energy that the White House brings to defend a white man, like I was just mentioning, knowing that Kamala Harris has spent almost a year taking a lot of the hits that the West Wing did not want to take on themselves." Okay, and of course she's referring to like the border crisis and everything. Here in MM Talk, we talked about how her staff was leaking that they want Kamala Harris to gain political points. This article also pointed out they want to gain political points, and the border crisis did not give her that. Okay,
would not give her.
We're not give her that.
Refused to go to the border.
This article points out the frustration of Harris, saying that why are you giving me this assignment? It's a no-win assignment. I cannot win it. I will not look positive. But of course, when you look at bad policy and you're dealing with Democrats, when all else fails, you pull out the race card. And if you don't believe me, let's take a look. Let's take a listen to Secretary of Press Secretary Jen Psaki, which basically just continues making an argument. And here we go.
After there were stories about her this weekend that mentioned low approval ratings, allegations of staff problems, some of her allies have attributed this to sexism. Do you think she is receiving more criticism because she's the first woman and first woman of color to serve as vice president?
Yes. Criticism from the outside? Absolutely. I do think that it has been easier and harsher from some in the right wing who have gone after her because she is the first woman of color. I'm not suggesting anyone will acknowledge that publicly, but I think there's no question that the type of attacks, the attacks on her.
Yeah. Let me acknowledge something first. I acknowledge that I said that. You want to know why? Because I told everybody on Talk this was an affirmative action pick. Okay, this was an affirmative action pick. So, Ms. Jen Psaki, I said that publicly. Go to an Talk episode. I forgot what the name of the title is, but if you follow our episode or our show, Eddie Marmolejo clearly stated this is an affirmative action pick. Joe Biden picked her for those specific reasons. But go on, man. I'm sorry to cut you off, bro.
Not only did no, that's correct. That's our statement on M Talk. She's an affirmative action candidate to the office of vice president, right? Because she's a woman, black, and because she gets the votes, right? That's the reason. That's the reason he got the 80 million votes. Right?
82 million.
Oh, 82 million votes. Okay.
Yeah, give her here the million votes, but you know.
give or take some fraud. What I'm trying to get at is that the fact that she says people don't recognize that, okay, people don't recognize that, plays on how the White House and these elite people think how stupid you are, okay? Because when Kamala Harris was elected as the vice president, it was all over the media, all over the news, on the paper, on the front page. Yeah, Biden was there too, but it was spoken for 2 weeks straight. The first female vice president of the United States.
First female black,
and
Asian,
she's black.
Puerto Rican,
because,
whatever.
you know, God forbid we correct the narrative that she's actually black Indian, right? African Indian. It's not even American black, but whatever, right? The point is that she's a woman of color and a woman as vice president, the first elected. It was all over the news for months, okay? For months. And the fact that Ms. Psaki says that we don't even recognize that is playing on your stupidity. And I'm going to be honest, it's playing on your stupidity. Thinking that you're stupid, that you forgot, stupid that you won't remember all the praise. We remember here. That's what we're reminding you, right? But, you know, Psaki needs to be reminded that, no, we all recognize, I think the United States in general, Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, woke, unwoke, you know, whatever you are, recognize that she is the first female woman of color in the office. Yeah. Right? Now, my other point is that she's saying that this is an attack from Republicans. And we've seen articles from her own party attacking Harris.
Yeah, yes, correct. And I'm not going to play the rest of this clip because we pretty much know where it's going. She's a woman of color, evil Republicans. That's pretty much the formula of the video, okay? Here's the thing. Jaime just pointed it out. During the primaries, okay, this is the woman that complained to the DNC. Complained to the DNC. I'll say this. Complained to the DNC saying that the primaries were racist, all right, because it started in heavily white populated states. Because I believe the first one was Iowa, heavily populated white states. It didn't start in California. It didn't start in Texas. It didn't start in some southern state or some really, really diverse state. And I said, okay, let's take Kamala Harris's and who is Julian Castro and I forgot who else we were making fun at the time, right? Because the low approval numbers. Oh, it was Cory Booker. Okay, Cory Booker and Senator Cory Booker, excuse me. And we said, let's look at how you're doing in your own home states.
That's right. That's right.
And Vice President Harris, soon to be, was at 2% in California. 2%, okay, in California. And I said, How are you complaining? Okay, so I said, in the words of Hillary Clinton, what difference does it make if you start in Iowa or you start in California? You are losing. So here's my thing. I mean, here's where I'm going with this, right? It is not because you're a woman of color. It is not because you're not African. Excuse me. You're black. It's not because you're Indian. It's not because of your skin color. It's because you stink. Okay, your policies stink. You're a horrible person. Your laugh irritates everybody. Okay, I mean, you're asking NASA to look at trees, for crying out loud, to find out what race a particular community is. Okay, you go to the border and you're laughing, and not only that, you're breaking campaign promises in other countries. And what do I mean? You're the one that was up in the podium saying, "Don't come." Don't come. After you and the president during your campaigns in the debate said, "Oh yeah, everybody should come. Everybody should come." Now it's don't come. Now people are irritated. Okay, the economy is worse. So all these infighting and all that is because both of you are breaking campaign promises. The country's going down the tubes. And let me put it to you this way: the Democrats don't want a progressive to run the country. because why do you think, that's another thing that we got to point out, why do you think everybody's freaking out right now? Why do you think everybody's coming to the defense? Because Bernie Sanders was leading during the primaries. Okay, they want those socialists to run the country. Nobody wants those. Like, then that's what they brought Sleepy Joe. He did the nice guy act. He won, and that's what he won. He was a moderate, right?
The same party chose him.
Yeah, the same party. They screwed
the
it.
same progressive party chose him.
So the Democrat Party screwed over Bernie. 2016 it was Hillary. In 2020 it was your entire party, and people like Kamala Harris and Bernie Sanders were not liked, and they're still not liked. That's why she's being attacked. Instead of being at the border, dealing with the border, the article points out her aides are saying it was a no-win scenario. So that means she's there for political victory. She's not there to govern. That's the issue. And a lot of Americans are seeing it. A lot of Americans are tired. And all this infighting going on in the White House is a result of poor policy. And that's where I'll leave it.
Yeah, and the poll numbers show that, right? So when talking about, they're making her like the victim, right, of attacks, of, because she's the first woman, she's the first, I mean, true or not, you expect to do your job.
Yeah.
Right? You expect to do your job, whether we agree with it or not, at least do your job, right? At least try, whether we agree with the policy or don't agree with the policy, go out there and do it. Her refusal to go to the border, she's literally the one who's supposed to fix the immigration problem and go to the Northern Triangle. She hasn't done crap.
Because they don't have a plan.
Right? And they might not have, or maybe they do have a plan, they don't. I don't know. But she's not doing her job. So, like Eddie says, her cackling, she's just laughing at everything, thinks everything's a joke, thinks she can just win people over with her smile and her laugh and you know, I'm cool, I'm fun. Attitude is not helping. It really isn't. So Psaki and, you know, the Harris camp and all those talking about like, because it's racism or it's because of conservatives. They're once again, like I said, they're trying to play on your stupidity, that you don't realize, that you don't notice that she sucks. Like Eddie said, you're terrible. You suck. As a California Attorney General, she did a terrible job. As a senator, she lasted a year, 2 years as senator?
I didn't even think she completed her first term.
Yeah, she didn't complete her first term.
She wanted to be Obama 2.0, but you know.
She didn't, and she sucked as senator. She didn't do much. All she did is like, excuse me. That's all the hype she got. Excuse me during the debate, which was annoying after the fact. But anyways, the point is that this is not driven by racism or conservative bias. This is driven by her own actions, her own miscalculations, her own poor ability to lead. And the Biden administration, they're trying to first of all play on your stupidity again by trying to hide his Alzheimer's. Okay, so hold on, I'm not done yet. So has Alzheimer's with that. Okay, so now they have a problem with Harris. Okay. First they have a problem with the president, right? Okay, we have a problem that he rambles, goes off on tangents, sometimes doesn't know where he's at, and now we have to deal with this woman who's supposed to be competent, who's supposed to make him look good, making him look worse.
Yeah.
So now they're dealing with two different problems, and who do you think they're going to try to defend the most? Because who's going to go in the history books longer?
President.
Biden. Yeah, Kamala Harris broke a record. She broke a glass ceiling Good for her. She's gonna be on history books. But the name of the administration she's under is Biden.
Yeah.
Right. And she keeps messing up with these dumb tweets, with this trying to be woke, with all this dumb thing. She's setting herself up for failure.
And when I leave off, and like Jaime says, they are playing to your stupidity because all the complaints are not even from the Republicans. It's from the Democrats.
Yes,
it's from her own administration, like the primaries, because she knows she's a bad person. She's a bad candidate. She's a bad politician. She's a bad representative of the people. So it was known then. The California voters said, no way, right? All the warning signs were there. Okay? But Joe Biden, the 82 million vote man, I want a woman, and I want a woman of color. Let's get the cackling, clackling, clack, clack, clack. Kamala Harris here. Hey Joe, we did it. Here we are a year later. Hey Joe, why aren't you talking to me? So that's where we're at. Elections, like Jaime said, have consequences. The consequences of voting for a 78-year-old man with cognitive problems that you didn't care about. I mean, you didn't even care about his racist history, much less his cognitive problems. Now you have to deal with a VP who's not well liked in the West Wing. It looks like a West Wing episode. I'm not sure if Aaron Sorkin is like the director of communications, so they're just acting parts. But it's bad. The White House is bad. Okay, where there's smoke, there's fire. Okay, well, I'm leaving it there.
So thank you very much. Like I said, I mean, it's just we notice it. We're rational, common sense people. We notice it, not just us. You too, who review us, right? Who follow us. You notice it. But because the news doesn't make you care about it, it makes it like, oh, it's not that important because the news doesn't make you care about it, right? Harris's poor leadership problem, Biden's cognitive issues. I mean, if it was Trump doing that, it would be all over the news.
If it was Trump and Pence, it would be a 24-hour cycle.
Right? But it's because it's Biden.
Could be congressional hearings.
Harris. Yeah, of course. Investigation. What does the doctor say? What's the expert say on his mental health, right?
How many burgers is he eating? Oh, wait, they actually did do that.
They actually did do that. So what we're saying is that you notice it, you realize it, you see it. You're a smart person. But because the media doesn't make it a big deal out of it, they think that they're hiding it, or they think, like I just said, they're trying to play on your stupidity. That because they don't mention it, you don't see it, you won't notice it, therefore you won't realize what's going on. So
we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be discussing what now Emperor Newsom is trying to do to the state to call him emperor because he's doing the whole Palpatine thing again.
Dictatorship based on political theory? No? Okay.
Yeah. Well, emergency powers, they're pretty tricky. But anyways, when we come back, we'll deal with the Newsom's emergency powers. So here's a word from our sponsor.
Don't go away.
Welcome back to our program. We just tuned in. We discussed the failing Biden administration. It's only year one, and the ruckus in that White House is like I said, an episode of The West Wing. But here's my big FU to YouTube. As I said last week, they give us a strike for our video regarding COVID vaccination, the constitutional questions. We posed because we said, what is the federal government's argument for the OSHA for emergency temporary status, right? The ones that we're going to impose on businesses of 100 employees or more. And there was a talk about even for 100 employees or less, so just all across the business sector. So we asked those constitutional questions. Jaime and I dived into it. We gave you our arguments. The media proves us correct. We get striked on YouTube saying we're spreading false information. So F you, YouTube. Why? Because OSHA just announced that they were going to suspend the implementation of the temporary emergency status, and they cite not just the Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, but in that opinion it states that basically they were exceeding their authority and they were borderline being unconstitutional. So basically what Jaime and Eddie argued in their Talk episode. So okay,
but fact checkers.
But fact checkers and YouTube. So it is what it is. And for further news, the Sixth Court of Appeals is going to take up all law cases regarding the OSHA implementation of and they're going to be looking at specific cases. And so that's the Sixth Court of Appeals will be looking to that pretty soon, and of course we'll keep you updated as we hear more. Anyways, so now we will move on to Emperor Newsom, right? As we said, the federal government's argument for mandates and emergency powers during the pandemic is pretty limited when it comes to the states. The states have more power when it comes to emergency powers, right? They can dictate any public health measures they seem fit for the general public. Mm-hmm. That is the power of the states. As you know, we're 18 months in, and Newsom still thinks it's March 2019. When did he do this?
I have the map. Hold on.
Yeah, hold on.
Agenda.
He
actually.
When did he give the order? I think the order came out
this week.
When did he do this? Today or yesterday or today?
Give me a second. I just had it.
No, hold on.
March 4th. No, that's 20.
No, that's when he did it. That's when he did it. But
hold on, it's loading up. I'm actually getting the verbiage of the.
No. When did he do the extension?
Yeah. I'm getting it. Right now.
Okay. So, give me a second here. Yeah, he's getting the. I'll just say he extended the thing. Jaime looks at the date. Yeah, it's right there through March 20. Okay.
Yeah, that was the one I loaded up was 2020. Here it is. He did it. Where's the date at? November 10th. Yeah. November 10th.
November 10th.
Of this
so
year.
he has extended for a third time. Not the first, not the second, not the third. You know, there was a wise man who once said, "Fool me once, shame on you. If fooled, you can't get fooled again." There was a wise man who said, but in California, folks, that does not apply.
It does not apply, no.
Because, once again, the emperor right here decides to extend the emergency orders for a third time. A third. Hospitals are not being overwhelmed. COVID rates in California are going down. Right, I believe.
Actually, in the order, my computer shut down, ran out of battery. But in the order, because we were reading it before we started, it literally says that they stopped tracking the decline of COVID-19. Why would you stop tracking the decline of COVID-19?
Yeah, and his reasoning, what we read in the order too, is because it's flu season, so you're gonna have surge. And as you know, the flu and COVID-19 are that far apart in symptoms. Actually, they overwhelm a lot.
Pretty much the same. Yeah.
It's the flu on steroids, as I've heard.
Much, yeah.
And
it kills you.
And yeah. But anyways,
with or without a vaccine.
But so again, this for me, this is the overreach of power that we have talked here in MM Talk. This is why a lot of people wanted him out. That's why the recall happened. And unfortunately, in California politics, you mentioned Trump, and it all goes to hell, and that's what happened. But a lot of people initially, and when you look at the reports and the articles, it was the economy and it was COVID. Mm-hmm. That was the main reasons for why people wanted Newsom out. And I even told Jaime when the recall first starting to happen, one of my questions that we asked here to one of the proponents is, what if he starts opening up the state and people are getting back to work? Does the recall movement lose momentum? And it started losing momentum because it was struggling for a while. And of course, Newsom gave everybody in California a favor and went to have dinner at the French Laundry, right? And that picked up the momentum back up again. And of course, the induction of Larry Elder put it within range, but you bring in Trump and you bring in the heavy artillery of,
the scare tactics of
the commercials.
The doomsday California.
We could talk about all the failures of the recall.
We have. Just go back to our episodes.
Yeah. So the point is, through all that, you had all the protests and all the mandates, people disobeying, people going to the beach and everything. It's been 18 months of that, folks. Now people are getting vaccinated. Now there's a majority of the population is vaccinated, and he still wants to extend emergency powers through March of 2022. I told you he was going to be emboldened when he won that recall race,
And he did.
And he did.
And he did.
And he is.
So why is that a problem, Riley?
Huh?
Why is that a problem?
Why is what a problem?
Him extending his emergency powers.
Because he really has no reason to. I mean, the whole reason of him extending his powers, right, is basically so he can do what he wants. Like I said, he can do what he
has
wants.
full authority to do whatever regulation, whatever idea, whatever proposal without the approval
of the state legislature. Yeah. And that's what it is.
He can mandate whatever, he can place whatever, he can have the power. Pretty much in Greek, right, Roman ideology is the dictatorship, right? In times of emergency, you get a man who leads the charge, suspend the Senate for a bit, do the dictatorship until the crisis is over, and then bring back the Senate.
Yeah.
Right? That was something the Romans did, something the Romans are the ones who perfected that.
Yeah.
And this dictator, in the sense of the Roman ideology behind it, right, the political idea behind it, is he's extending his powers too much for he can continue to implement, make changes, add changes to regulations, permissions, rules, and stuff that he's already changed 400 of them, which there's a lot of them that we haven't gone through, but we should one day. What has changed since he became emergency empowered governor? Yeah. So by extending, pretty much like Eddie says, he gets to do whatever he wants without the approval of the state legislature, and that, my friend, is real dictatorship. Not the one President Trump had when he just yelled back at the media, right, and called them fake news. What governor is doing is pretty much just having sole power to create and remove a law.
Yeah. So I mean, and like I said, in California, the best things you can do is protest. And back in March, and then let me get this other date, in December actually of 2020, there was bills introduced into the state legislature. One was written by also former California governor candidate Kevin Kiley. We got to meet him, and a good person. I mean, he honestly, I thought if the election would have gone Larry Elder's way, he would have been Attorney General of California. I actually would have vouched for that because he's smart.
Yeah,
he's very smart. He's a very, very sharp guy, and I would have definitely voted him for would have supported him for Attorney General of California. But there's been resolutions already passed, ACR 46, basically stating that by March 4th, 2020, it looks into all the stipulations, and it points out the grievances against the governor and his emergency powers. And then it's SCR 5, which does the same thing. One of them, even from our close senator, Senator Ochoa Bo, state senator, she's one of the co-authors. Again, looks into that. So if I were you in California, this is the best way to pressure your assemblyman and your state senators. Hey, you guys need to start supporting resolutions to stop the emergency powers of Governor Newsom. Again, the recall was heavily voted by independents, and independents in California have been noted to vote Democrat. So, and Democrats also supported the recall. And I'm just saying, for the reason was this: the violation of emergency powers, the over extension of the powers. This just really has to end, and it's going to continue because a lot of people fear still the safety, even though the signs and the facts are pointing otherwise.
Exactly. So, unfortunately, I know he won the recall by a large margin, but it's all because of the fear factor that he proposed on the waves, pretty much. And we heard it on the radio and on TV. We're like, yeah, this is it. He's going to win it because the fear factor of doomsday, California, if a Republican's elected. A black man. Hold on, I'm going to use it in terms of Democrats. If a black man gets voted into governor of California, it's doomsday. That's pretty much what he said.
No, but he's the white face of he's the black face of white.
He's a black man, and it's gonna be doomsday. We gotta talk in terms of Democrats. Okay.
But so that's where we're at in California. That is the state of our country right now. There's infighting in the White House. Who knows what's going to happen between now and the midterms? And now it's getting interesting. Republicans have the biggest lead in the history of an ABC poll. It's only going to get bigger. There's already schools fighting against the mandates. It's going to be interesting going into the midterms. It's going to be interesting to see what each state has to propose. And of course, MM Talk is going to be on top of it and updating you as things go. Just a quick mention on the Kyle Rittenhouse case. Second day of deliberations, no verdict. I tuned in a little bit. There was a lot of discussion on videos and question 5. I couldn't recall what question 5 was about, but I mean, a lot of the talk was about a video that we're going to send up to the jury, and the defense was making a big deal of video quality. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I just think they don't want to deliberate because of all the stories they're hearing out in the public about the National Guard being put on already on alert. Black Lives Matter mentioning there's going to be chaos. Black Lives Matter right outside the courthouse. There was a video of pizzas being put outside the courthouse. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's gonna, but we'll keep you updated. We'll just go into our social media posts. Pages. We'll probably post an update there. Jaime may do an update. I'll do an update. We'll keep you up, but it is going to be interesting to see what the verdict is. You know my opinion. I already talked about it. Go watch the episode last week.
I think he's going to be. Yeah, I have my opinion too. Yeah, based on what's going on outside the courtroom.
So we'll talk about that as the verdict comes. But for now, just keep going to our social media pages. And keep in the loop, and we'll end the episode here. Once again, thank you for tuning in to MM Talk. Follow us now on Spotify, on Anchor, and also here on Instagram and Facebook, Twitter. And I'm Eddie Marmolejo.
I'm Jaime Moreno.
This is MM Talk, and remember,
we're tired of it too.